Oh boy, it's me, Waddles. We're back at it again with another controversy and apparently another creeper hole. Alright, real funny. Which one of you lads, stand up, speak up right now. Who left the creeper hole here? Who left the creeper hole in front of Minecraft Snapshot 23w46a snapshot sign? Don't you know I have to do video intro here and talk about features? Before I could even dive into the changelog for 23w46a, the controversies have begun. We've got some redstone changes and some other changes too. Brand new series kicking off this weekend, so now is the best time ever to make sure double check your subscribe, notifications on, and tap like. Let's do this. No pun intended, I think. Instead of starting out in a tough spot, let's go ahead and talk about tough blocks. Tough blocks. Inside of this snapshot, the textures have been changed. More specifically, I think it's the brick texture. This is a change we talked about in yesterday's preview video if you caught it, but basically, long story short, we had a little bit of inconsistency when it comes to the tough block and the textures going on here. Taking a look at all these, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's that one. Or was it this one? Inside of the snapshot, we have something like 16 bug fixes or something like that. One of the bug fixes directly has to do with the tough block itself. That pixel right there, obviously off the top of my head, I knew it's 434A3D. This pixel right over here is 454A42. Long story short, inconsistent. When it comes to how the devs making texture and color blocks in the game, there's a little bit of like color theory, basically, I guess you could call it, going on here, where like the colors, they have to be consistent within each other, within themselves. If we go ahead and take a look at these colors, they blend smoother transition than ever before. And for that, we applaud. And the applause, it doesn't even have to stop now, because take a seat, you're not prepared for the return of the king. The Titan is back. Inside of this snapshot, the crafter's texture, it's an Iron Man again. We've got the beard going on, and I saw on Twitter yesterday, they said it was sideburns. They called it sideburns on the crafter, and it's genius, it's wonderful. If we look at the crafter's rear, it's censored. It's not appropriate. In the better crafter update out of the two this week, we've got a beautiful brand new texture. I think this might be the best texture yet. If we want to try it, how do I do it? Rotate it. Yeah, just like that. We can take a look at the bottom. It's blast furnace-y. It's very, very nice. The side of the texture, you got the handle thing going on. And then the back, you get this like clean line in the middle. I like it. I think it looks really, really good. What I wanted to do real quick here is test out the crafter with a couple other gray looking blocks to see maybe how the transition, how the fade happens. The crafter, it almost looks like almost exactly the same gray color palette, the tones going on here, as the beautifulest blasty boy in the whole game. Yeah, look at that. That's almost a combination in itself, a machine or something. That's pretty cool. What if we had a crafter with a blast furnace like that? Yeah, maybe that's the way to like spice it up in a small way in your world. 1.21. Oh, that's cool. Speaking of 1.21, the snapshots, great news. If you like them, the new series coming this weekend involves it. You know, in a way, you could call this snapshot the most consistent snapshot of all time, because inside of this snapshot, the dropper, the dispenser, and the crafter, their tick delay is now all the same. So if you didn't know how this worked, previously, basically, the crafter had a 1 tick delay. It was like insanely quick. Now the crafter is going to have a 4 tick delay, just like the other redstone components. Consistency with tough, consistency with components. Oh boy. Alright, so I like me a fair bit of farms and redstone, and I feel like I'm relatively knowledgeable on this stuff, but I know that a lot of people are immediately not very happy about this one. I've done my fair share of crafter testing and experimenting, but nothing too like insanely complex or advanced, nothing like that. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out over the next couple of days, and maybe moving into the next snapshot or something like that, because it seems like it's a huge crafter nerf, almost for the sake of nothing. But wait, there's more. Bad news, not a fan of consistency. Well, the copper bulb is also consistent as well now. Oh my god, it's a turn signal. It's a turn signal. No way. Yeah, so they decided to go ahead and update the copper bulb in this snapshot as well to go ahead and make it more consistent. When it comes to tick delays, I'm not as familiar with this thing as I am the crafter, admittedly, but yeah, hold up. Did I just make the most musical sound of all time? It's music to my eyes. Display names. Earlier this morning, Bartek Block was over on Twitter teasing some features inside of the snapshot, and it seems like it's all this kind of stuff. Scoreboards can now have custom display names. Check this out inside of the screenshot for this snapshot. Oh, it's beautiful, and it's cool, and it's froggy, and it's wonderful. Next up, sending ourselves off to a far foreign distant land, a land that I have never set foot on before. We slide under the ground to take a look at the trial chambers. The header of this snapshot blog post, it looks like the trial chambers. If you were wondering what happened to the trial chamber inside of this snapshot, well, unfortunately nothing. Aside from some small bug fixes that don't really involve the trial chamber itself, and instead some things found inside of it, like say tough bricks or the breeze that we'll talk about in a minute, as far as I'm aware, everything about the trial chamber is exactly the same as it was when it comes to last week, which is very interesting. If you caught yesterday's video where we talked about the trial chamber and how it was just added to Minecraft Bedrock for the very first time, then you would know that this chamber is actually significantly different over on that version of the game. Taking a quick look at all the loot inside of the structure, it seems like even the loot is exactly the same in its strange, raw, unfinished form. See, obviously, I guess things happen or whatever, but I really was thinking maybe in this snapshot we would see a little bit of different loot or maybe different mobs, maybe the poison skeleton specifically. You know, something, anything, bug fixes with the structure, but it doesn't seem like it. It seems like the trial chambers are just the same as they left it last week. The trial key is another fascinating new thing that was added in last week's snapshot, and unfortunately, inside of this week's snapshot, the trial key is same old, exactly the same. It still doesn't have any use, it doesn't really do anything, it's still stackable, not consumable, not edible, you know, all those things. But wow, this structure is so cool. I love these big winding hallways. I love this thing and I can't wait. Admittedly, some of the changes inside of this snapshot are maybe like questionable, to say the best, questionable. But some of these other changes, no pun intended, are some of the greatest changes of all time. Take a look at this, lads. What do you see here? Do we see perhaps maybe copper grate getting waterlogged, every single version of it? Oh, yes we do. We absolutely do. The copper grate inside of this snapshot is at long last finally waterloggable, which is so beautiful. If you put it underneath the water all the way, then the water just cleanly smooths into it. Meanwhile, if you put it at water level, then the copper grate, the top of the block, kind of like sticks out, but there's definitely water in the middle there. If we had a copper grate on land and we wanted to say waterlog it, the water will be self-contained inside of this grate as well. Maybe that's gonna make this grate great for... I'm sorry, I was trying to say it's gonna be great for in farms, yeah. Another cool thing with this copper grate is, let's say it was floating or something and we waterlog it, the water stays contained all the way, like it doesn't soak through the bottom or nothing like that at all. Now, unfortunately, I had this really cool idea that maybe we could move water sources around with the copper grate, but unfortunately, whether you're pulling it or you're pushing it, this thing, it just erases the water. I wonder if they could make that change, though. Maybe you're curious about how sponges interact with this block. Well, that's how they interact. If you have a sponge right next to it, it'll soak the water right out of it. But it has to be touching one of the flat sides. And another copper grate change that I'm not sure if we ever really touched on over here, they did fix this, allegedly speaking, definitely speaking, a couple snapshots ago. The copper grate will now be able to be pushed into mobs, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt you at all. Final thing I'd like to talk about in today's snapshot video is this beautiful idea right here. I need it in my life. We need to like get this on the feedback page, send this idea to the devs, something like this. I can never see the copper grate the same. Somebody had the cool idea to place them in oceans and rivers and collect fish slowly over time like a fishing cage. Oh, that parallels real life just how the devs love to. And imagine the farms, it wouldn't be too overpowered. Like I imagine it, maybe you have to submerge it in water and it's in like a 3x3 cube of water or something like that, and give it a little bit of time and eventually it'll actually like stock up fish. Then you can walk up to it and almost like open the grate, if you will, almost like a barrel, small inventory hopper or something. You get a little bit of fish from it, or maybe like ink sacs as well. Please. Look, we've got no option. It's time to put the pressure on the devs. The copper grate inside of the water, please turn it into a fishing block, please. It's an update all about farms and technical stuff, and come on, please. It would make copper so cool. Next up, it's time to talk about our breeziest boy in the entire game. Let's take a look at the spawn eggs. Looking at the spawn eggs inside of here, we'll find the breeze right here next to the blaze. It's in the correct order, alphabetized. This definitely confirms they're related though, right? The breeze is trapped inside of this container. Not going to be able to go anywhere. We go ahead and turn hitboxes on, flip into survival, and check this out. When it shoots the wind at me, come on, buddy, you can do it, shoot the, yeah. Okay, this is going to be so hard to see, but the hitbox was like misaligned. Now it's perfectly aligned. Look at that. Oh, it's beautiful. Now moving over here, a little bit of science going on. Check this out. The breeze is like fireball thing. It can turn off and turn on levers now. In a previous snapshot, it was not able to do that. in last week's snapshot, the thing had a little bit of problems going on where it couldn't turn off the levers, but now, yeah, definitely it can. Cool little thing about the breeze, did you know you time it just right? You could absolutely send those wind charges right back at the boy. Yeah, not so fast, breeze. Better luck next time. So Minecraft Snapshot 23w46a, that's just about it. Now usually I don't really talk about leaks in this type of video, we save it for something else, but this time I've got a fascinating one, and I'm not gonna have time to talk about it this weekend. Smoky Stack. If you watch some of the Bedrock videos, the other videos, then you know Smoky Stack. Well, we've heard of Smoky before. Smoky was, I believe, the very first one to break this that I saw. Take a look at this. This is for Minecraft Bedrock, but it seems the armadillo is coming soon to Minecraft. The material entry has been added in the latest preview. And then here we have a line of code referencing the armadillo itself. So what do you think? Do you think we'll get the armadillo before the end of the year, or we're gonna get that in like January or something? You call it down below, smash like, subscribe. New series this weekend. Did I say that already? Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Appreciate you as always. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.